Well, today is actually Tuesday, but we're going to pretend like it's Monday so that I can do a book review. And guess what book I'm going to review? That's right, Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Yeah, I'm never going to do a book review of Moby Dick by Herman Melville because I very much doubt I'm ever going to read Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Alright, obviously, of course, the book I'm going to review today is Paper Towns by John Green, which came out this past Thursday, and which I finished reading on Friday. Now, nerdfighter aficionados will probably know that John Green has talked about the form of his various novels. He said Looking for Alaska was shaped like this, that An Abundance of Catherines was shaped like this, and that he wanted to write a book that was shaped like this, and so he wrote Paper Towns. And now that I have read Paper Towns, I know what that means, and I'm going to share it with you. At least I think I know what it means. It's possible that John Green was just, you know, being funny, but I'm pretty sure that I know what it means, so I'm going to explain it to you. So for every story, for every book, there is a point that the book kind of revolves around. A point that is worked towards and is worked away from. A climactic point, if you will. Now, anyone who's read Looking for Alaska knows how it works. There's a before section, there's an after section, and before every little scene in the book, they have 28 days before, or 134 days before, or 6 days after, or whatever. So obviously there's some event in the middle of the book that the story circulates around, and that's why Looking for Alaska looks like this. And now suddenly, it's sunny. Now, An Abundance of Catherines, he said, was built like this, and that's built more like a regular story, where the point the story is building towards is toward the end, or the top, if you will. Get out your copies of Paper Towns. Paper Towns has two key points that the story kind of circulates around. Look back through to page 140. You will notice that on page 140, something changes. Most stories are told in past tense, like I drove to the bank and made a withdrawal. Sometimes, however, the author will use present tense. I drive to the bank and make a withdrawal. When you're reading it in past tense, it kind of feels like you're watching a picture on TV. But when you're reading it in present tense, it's like you're kind of floating above the scene and watching it. And the other thing it does, is kind of connected with that, is that it gives the scene a kind of eternity. The sense that the thing that you're reading about is still going on. It's still happening, and it's kind of forever happening. So on page 140, he switches, and it's a fairly subtle switch, he switches to present tense. And this is the moment where Quentin starts to fear that Margo might have killed herself. And he does that for about 10 pages, and then he switches back to past tense. And then the other time that he switches to present tense is when we begin part 3. And this is the part where they begin their epic road trip in the search for Margo. So really kind of the point where Quentin realizes that not only has Margo not killed herself, but she's still on there, and maybe she even wants to be found. And this is significant because Paper Towns is about Margo, who she is and how she is misperceived. And these 2 points in the story kind of represent the end of one misconception about Margo's character, usually on the part of Quentin, and the beginning either of another or just another question of who she really is. There are lots of other reasons to enjoy the book, of course, but it was kind of a short drive today, and I chose to focus on that reason. Happy Margo says, read Paper Towns, and I'll see you next time.